Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report as we break down some of the top early Dallas Cowboys training camp takeaways, bunch of news and notes, not on injuries today. Instead, some players impressing and some who maybe aren't impressing. We will have you guys covered all throughout training camp with constant updates, news, developments. We'll do some winners and losers later on once we get into the pads and stuff, have some more fun on that standpoint. So make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Cowboys Report, youtube.com/Cowboys TV. First up is Dak Prescott. He spoke on Thursday, not long after our video for the day went out. He said he's passed on the Netflix quarterback series twice. They asked him the first time and the second time, but he said he would rather focus, and he has enough attention on him, and the Cowboys get enough there. It would have been great to see him on that. I think he would have been an awesome player to watch there. Would have really came off as very impressive, but nonetheless did not do it. He also was asked about Zack Martin, simply said, pay the man. Can't say I disagree. On Martin, by the way, told the offensive line he'd be back soon. Hasn't quite yet. Here's what Dak Prescott said about the defense, by the way, who so far, to the surprise of nobody, and this is how it normally goes in camp, defense has the edge. That's not a surprise or a cause for concern. But he said they feel confident with the man next to them doing their job that allows them to play fast. That's going to make it tough on any offense. For us to get to go against them every day, that's iron sharpening iron. That's impressive. I do think that the Cowboys' offense and defense facing each other is a good thing for both sides. Unfortunately, maybe not a good thing so far for Simi Fehoko. He has not had his best stuff. He's had some drop issues, not just in the team drills, but even during the regular drills. Had some double catches as well. Had a really bad drop on day one that was picked off, which you just can't have anymore. Fehoko is fighting for a roster spot and potentially as high as wide receiver 4, which so far through 2 days, he is not very close to obtaining at this point. He has some good size, speed characteristics, but he's missed time. He's been banged up. The Cowboys need to find a way, or he should, I say, find a way to earn a roster spot, but he has to be a lot better. So will Fehoko make the Cowboys roster? He's not guaranteed it. So far, it's been kind of a rough start. K for keep him, C for cut him. This, of course, comes at roster cutdown time. Not right now. You have time. You don't rush into that quite yet. On a positive side, we have Jalen Tolbert, who had a lot of buzz on OTAs and minicamp, and it's come from enough different reporters that it makes me think it's not the Cowboys propaganda machine hyping up a player to get them to feel positive. Sounds like Tolbert actually is playing really well at training camp, and that's huge. He lacked confidence last year. He was not feeling good about himself as a football player. He was struggling. He wasn't confident, had almost as many offsides as catches last year. Now things are going much better for him, and the guy I thought he could be coming out of South Alabama, we'll get some of that this year, even just as wide receiver 4. So are you buying or selling the Jalen Tolbert hype train? Y for yes, you are. N for no, you are not. It is the pinned comments on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Another receiver we'll discuss here, Jalen Moreno-Cropper, who had a great touchdown catch. The throw that Cooper Rush makes the best is his back shoulder end zone fade. Not back shoulder, but end zone fade route. He threw a good one there, and Moreno-Cropper brought it in. He's fighting for a roster spot right now. Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, and I would say probably Tolbert are roster locks. I think Kevontae Turpin is likely safe as a hybrid player, kind of return man focused. That leaves 1, maybe 2 spots for Fehoko, Dennis Houston, Moreno-Cropper. I think he's the UDF everyone falls in love with this year, which was kind of the expectation when the Cowboys signed him. It was a good signing. But now we'll wait and see in terms of that front. There's Jalen Brooks, the draft pick, who we've all kind of ignored the draft pick, by the way. He was the one drafted, and we're a lot more excited about Jalen Moreno-Cropper, but a lot of early buzz on him. We'll see if that continues once things really get going when the pads come on and in the preseason game. Today's show is made possible by Zbiotics. Let's face it, after y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I don't always bounce back well the next day. That is until I found Zbiotics. Zbiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets made into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Zbiotics makes an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it the most. So drink Zbiotics before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Zbiotics comes in this little handy-dandy case. Comes with 6 different bottles, all small, easy, compact, easy to drink and to travel with because, let's be honest, we're out and about during the summer. So go to zbiotics.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code chatsports at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription as well, so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. Zbiotics comes with 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked. That is zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code chatsports at checkout for 15% off. Thank you to Zbiotics for sponsoring today's video. Next up is Eric Scott. Good news here. Got some reps with the twos. The pecking order right now on the defensive back depth chart goes Diggs, Gilmore on the outside, Bland in the nickel, etc. Diggs, Gilmore, Deshaun Wright. Eric Scott is CB4 on the outside, at least for now, with Jordan Lewis on the PUP list, Deron Bland at nickel, Kelvin Joseph at nickel, and Israel Mukuamu banged up. He benefited from the Simi Fehoko drop. It was a nice catch. That does matter. Ball skills do matter for corners in the modern-day NFL. DeMarvion Overshown, next up here. Mike McCarthy, excuse me as I hiccup. Had some praise for the Cowboys rookie linebacker out of Texas, who has a chance to be as high as linebacker 3 among the off-ball players this year. I love the praise here from McCarthy. He says, quote, there's a young man that gets it. He's made an impression. He's one of the first guys the coaching staff talks about. I look for him to make an impact. Of all your recent draft picks at linebacker, from Damone Clark to Jabril Cox to Devin Harper, DeMarvion Overshown was the one drafted the highest. At minimum, I would anticipate a key core special teams role for Overshown this season. Let's talk about our small king. You might have seen the videos, a lot of national media kind of poking fun. He is oh so small out there, but he's good. He's making plays. He's catching the ball softly. He's got some punt return reps. Still needs some work. There hasn't done much punt return, but make note of that. He's fun to watch. He is undersized, but he's our small king. And with Tony Pollard on the pitch count, led to plenty of chances for Deuce Vaughn and others. Malik Davis has flashed too, don't get me wrong. But I am hyped to see what the Cowboys are going to get out of Deuce Vaughn, particularly in the preseason. It's this early stage of training camp. There's no contact. The contact bounces and a thing because you're not really getting hit. But that small center of gravity, I think, is actually a positive for Deuce Vaughn. You don't have to be a giant player to make it in the NFL. Those guys are exceptions because they're not only as electric, as dynamic as Deuce Vaughn is. I'm excited to see him this upcoming season. Did not realize this when I was making the show, but we're in the first-year player portion. 4 rookies, or wait, 5 rookies in a row we're talking about here. I can't do math. Luke Schoonmaker. This one's not as positive. No timeline for a return for him from his plantar fascia issue. Red flag. Don't like that. Really don't like it. Look, I am very concerned about the year 1 impact for Luke Schoonmaker. In general, not always, but in general, tight ends have a bit of a longer adjustment period to the NFL. Their impacts come a little bit later in their careers, compared to like a back or a receiver or whatever. Schoonmaker faces that tough adjustment time frame, and the Cowboys are now trying to get him up to speed and be healthy and get caught up on the offense. I am concerned about the year 1 impact that the Cowboys are going to get out of Luke Schoonmaker. I've dropped him on the depth chart. I've got Ferguson back there at tight end 1. I think he's your lead guy right now. You spent a second-round pick on Schoonmaker. I'm not out on him as an overall player, but I am worried about his first-year impact at tight end. Who ends up emerging, let's say by the end of the year, as tight end 1? JF for Jake Ferguson, LS for Luke Schoonmaker, or PH for Peyton Hendershot? Go vote for me in the comment section. I know many of you wondering about Mazi Smith and his play. He's shown some flashes as much as you can, but the pads aren't on yet. You're in, I think it was McCarthy called it helmets and underwear, is what he said. You're in shells. You got the helmets on, cleats and gloves and whatever, but the pads aren't on yet. And that's where Mazi Smith's power is really going to show. When you can have a bit more contact, not full on, decking the quarterback or whatever, but a bit more physicality, which has been a little bit physical practice so far, which I like, by the way. Saw some flashes. He's gotten some reps with the ones, but we're not really going to get a great feel for Mazi's potential high-end impact until we see him in pads and, more importantly, I assume, in the preseason as well. Let's talk Nahshon Wright then, too. Look, I've been pretty hard on the guy over the years, and so far, there's a reason for that. But I will always give players credit when they deserve it. I thought his interception of Dak Prescott covering Jalen Tolbert was a really great play. He beat Tolbert along that sideline. It might not look like that from the video necessarily, but being able to keep the receiver up against the boundary, getting your head around, boxing him out, not allowing the receiver to go around you or go open over you. There's a reason why after the interception, Tolbert went to Dak and said, hey, give me another shot. Because Tolbert didn't win the route. Nahshon Wright won the route. That matters as the Cowboys have a chance for depth at corner. Nahshon Wright's fighting for a roster spot. I liked what I saw from that interception. Hopefully it continues in the preseason, where last year he had a bit of a rough go of it.